After 3 years of marriage, my husband Ethan Gu and his entire family believe that I am an uneducated, good-for-nothing heiress who only knows how to deliver takeout. They spent my family's money while living in our Beverly Hills villa, all the while belittling me in front of relatives and friends, saying that I was bringing shame to the Gu family. On the occasion of Grandpa Gu Dahai's 70th birthday, the hall was filled with guests. In front of everyone, Ethan made me serve tea to his business partners, saying I wasn't worthy to sit at the main table. His mother, with her bright red nail polish, pinched her voice and said, "Ella, our family comes from a scholarly background. Don't bring that takeout business back home, it's dirty." They thought that by controlling my money, they could control me. They didn't know that my son, Riley Hung, who hugs his computer every day, can turn everything they take pride in into a joke with just a flick of his fingers. Little did they know, what I delivered was not takeout, but a death warrant that could determine their lives and deaths. My name is Ella Hung. Today is my father-in-law Gu Dahai's 70th birthday. The venue for the banquet is the top-floor banquet hall of the Beverly Hilton Hotel, which is under my family's name. I rode my electric scooter here. The security guard almost didn't let me in. He said the place was booked for the day, and delivery personnel should use the staff entrance. I pointed to the Chanel haute couture outfit I was wearing. "Do I look like I deliver takeout for someone?" The security guard hesitated for a moment but still let me in. In the banquet hall, resplendent with gold and jade, the sound of voices was deafening. My husband, Ethan Gu, dressed in a sharp Armani suit, was holding a glass of red wine, chatting and laughing with a few so-called business elites. He saw me, and his brows immediately knitted into a frown. He walked over quickly, lowering his voice, his words laced with sparks. "Allah, what are you doing? I told you to drive the Bentley and you're riding that broken scooter." "Traffic jam," I replied succinctly. "Traffic jam?" he sneered. "Are you afraid others won't know you're a delivery driver?" "You've completely tarnished my face, Ethan Gu." I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to him. I walked straight to the main table, wanting to see my son Riley. Ethan grabbed my wrist with a strong grip. "What are you going to do? Sit down." "Sit?" He seemed to have heard the biggest joke in the world. "Just look at who is sitting at the main table. President Jin, Director Lee, and a few of Dad's old comrades. Among them isn't a person of stature? So what?" I looked at him. "Go to that table in the back and sit with the nanny from home." His voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for the few people around to hear. Whispers and stifled laughter buzzed in my ears like flies. My mother-in-law, Chen Mei, came over, twisting her barrel-shaped waist. She looked me up and down, her nose not quite a nose, her eyes not quite eyes. "Allah, why did you just arrive? You know, we thought you were our Gu family's daughter-in-law. If someone didn't know better, they might think you were too busy delivering takeout to even remember your own father-in-law's birthday banquet." She deliberately elongated the words takeout, laced with a hint of disdain. "Mom, I haven't forgotten, that's good to hear." Chen Mei picked up a glass of wine from the server's tray. "Go, toast to Boss Hang over there, he just signed a big deal with our family. As the daughter-in-law, you should contribute a bit to the family." I looked at the glass of wine and didn't move. Ethan's expression grew even darker. "Allah, don't be ungrateful, I'm giving you a chance by letting you go." My face, "I earn it myself, no need for you to give it." The atmosphere instantly dropped to freezing point. At the main table, the face of the elder Gu Dahai was already as dark as the bottom of a pot. He slammed the chopsticks heavily on the table. "This is outrageous, our family's upbringing has all been ruined by you. What kind of family education does the Gu family have, teaching their son how to live off a woman?" As soon as I said that, the entire place fell silent. Ethan's face instantly turned a pig liver color. He raised his hand, intending to hit me. I looked at him coldly. "Try touching me and see what happens." His hand paused in midair. In the end, I didn't dare to land, because he knew that by hitting me, everything he currently possessed would turn to dust. "Rebellious, truly rebellious," Chen Mei screamed. "Ethan, divorce her, get a divorce right now." Our Gu family can't afford such a daughter-in-law. Divorce? That's a good idea. I was just thinking when my phone in my pocket vibrated. I took it out to have a look. It's a WeChat message from my son, Riley, a picture and a question mark. The picture is an intimate photo of a young girl with Ethan, set against the backdrop of a private yacht. The girl smiled brightly, and Ethan wrapped his arms around her waist. I smiled. I turned the phone screen towards Ethan. Honey, aren't you going to introduce us? This young lady is really quite lovely. The moment Ethan saw the photo, his pupils dilated sharply. The color drained from his face in an instant, leaving it whiter than the wall. Where did you get the photo? He wanted to snatch my phone. I took a step back and dodged. What's wrong? Feeling guilty? My voice isn't loud, but it's enough for the people at the nearby tables to hear clearly. The guests who were originally just watching the excitement suddenly had a playful glint in their eyes. Chen Mei still hadn't figured out the situation and was still jumping around on the side. What photo, Ella? What trick are you playing again? Don't try to change the subject. She said this while trying to lean in for a better look. I put away my phone. Mom, it's nothing, just a photo of Ethan and the new client. It's normal to be a bit close when discussing business. I deliberately emphasized the words new client. Ethan's forehead was already beaded with cold sweat. He pulled me into a corner, his voice trembling with fear. Allah, what do you want to do? Are you following me? I'm not that free. I shook off his hand. I just wanted to remind you. People are watching, and the heavens are watching. Oh wait, it's the Skynet that's watching. He doesn't get my joke. He only knew that his biggest weakness was now firmly in my grasp. His arrogance was instantly extinguished by 90%. What do you want? He asked. Apologize. What? Make you, along with your mom and dad, apologize to me in front of everyone. Ethan's face alternated between shades of green and white. Having him apologize in public is more painful than killing him. Impossible. All right. I nodded, took out my phone, and pretended to post on Instagram. Don't. He immediately pressed my hand down. I'm sorry. He took a deep breath, as if he had made up his mind about something, and turned back to the center of the banquet hall. He picked up the microphone, his hands trembling. Dear guests, dear friends, I apologize for the interruption. The entire venue fell silent once more, all eyes focused on him. I was wrong just now. I shouldn't have yelled at my wife, Ella. She works very hard, and as her husband, I should understand and support her. Here, I sincerely apologize to her. After saying this, he bowed deeply in my direction. Chen Mei and Gu Dehai were both stunned. They had no idea what kind of madness their son was caught up in. The guests were also discussing among themselves. Their expressions varied. I walked up to him and took the microphone. Just saying sorry is not enough. I looked at Chen Mei and Gu Dehai. And you too. Chen Mei's mouth was open wide enough to fit an egg. Shall we apologize to you, in your dreams? I'm not dreaming. I shook my phone. Mom, I know you've recently become obsessed with playing mahjong. And you've been on a winning streak, winning over $200,000 at the card room last week. However, the ladies you've been playing with seem to be the relatives of suppliers from Dad's company, right? Chen Mei's face turned pale in an instant. I looked back at Gu Dehai. Dad, you are highly respected and known for your integrity. I just wonder if that painting in your study, said to be a genuine work by Tang Bohu, titled Pine Sounds on the Mountain Path, is known to Mr. Ho, who wants to win the bid for the South Los Angeles project, that you also like it. Gu Dehai's body swayed slightly, almost causing him to fall off the chair. He looked at me, his eyes filled with terror and disbelief. He couldn't understand how I knew about these things that he believed were flawlessly concealed. I certainly know, because my son Riley has been able to hack into the Pentagon's database since he was 5 years old. Checking on their trivial matters was, for him, easier than doing kindergarten craft projects. This is my confidence. My son is the top hacker in the world. Gu Dehai and Chen Mei eventually apologized. Although unwilling, the appearance was still put on. One claims to be lenient in managing the household, while the other admits to having misspoken. The guests were left in a daze, but they all sensibly applauded. A family farce came to an apparently peaceful conclusion just like that. The Ethan family has made a huge fool of themselves today. The way they looked at me was like a poisoned knife. I don't care. This is just the beginning. Halfway through the banquet, a discordant voice rang out again. It is Ethan's cousin, Kevin Gu. A guy who, relying on his status as a Stanford graduate, managed to land a department manager position at Ethan Company. Walks around with his nose in the air all day long. He staggered in front of me, holding a wine glass. Sister-in-law, my brother and the others have all apologized to you, so you shouldn't hold a grudge. After all, we are all family. He spoke sweet words, but the contempt in his eyes was unmistakable. My brother is doing this for your own good. You graduated from a prestigious university like Harvard, and yet you choose to deliver takeout. What will people think of our family when they hear this? The relatives at the next table immediately chimed in. That's right, Kevin is right. Allah, it's not that we're criticizing you, but as a girl, you should find a proper job and settle down a bit. Here it comes again. These people always think they stand on the moral high ground, able to dictate the lives of others. I smiled and looked at Kevin. Cousin, I heard you were just promoted to the director of marketing last month. Kevin was taken aback for a moment, then straightened his chest, wearing a proud expression. Yeah, sister-in-law, our company just landed a big project, and I'm the key player. Oh, is that so? I leisurely took a sip of fresh juice. That Las Vegas project called Starlight Entertainment City. I heard that to secure this project, you gifted a limited edition Ferrari to the son of their CEO? Kevin's smile froze on his face. What nonsense are you talking about? Am I talking nonsense? I took out my phone, opened a recording, and turned on the speaker. A greasy man's voice came from inside. Director Gu, don't worry, my son really likes the car. I've already placed your company's bid on the chairman's desk. There won't be any issues at all. The voice wasn't loud, but in the quiet banquet hall, it was crystal clear. Kevin's face instantly changed from white to red, and then from red to purple. The wine glass in his hand fell to the ground with a bang, shattering into pieces. Gu Dahai, sitting at the main table, had a pale face. Commercial bribery is a serious matter that can land a company in legal trouble. Ethan glared at me fiercely, gritting his teeth as he said, Ella, that's enough. Enough? I put away my phone and stood up. This is just the beginning. I looked around at the Gu family relatives who had just been pointing and whispering about me. Everyone, today is my father-in-law's birthday, and I should say something cheerful. Well, since everyone is so concerned about my work, I'll take some time to care about you all too. I looked at my third aunt, Aunt San. Isn't your daughter studying at a prestigious school in the UK? You post about it on Facebook every day. But how come I found out that the school she attends was exposed last year as a diploma mill specifically targeting wealthy Chinese people? Aunt San's face turned pale. I looked at my uncler again. Uncler, you've been on quite a winning streak lately, winning $3 million in Las Vegas last month. But I wonder, how do you plan to explain the sudden missing $5 million from your company's account to the shareholders? Uncler's legs went weak, and he collapsed directly into the chair. The entire banquet hall was silent as a grave. All the relatives I called out were like chickens with their necks squeezed, unable to utter a single word. The way they looked at me changed from disdain to fear. They finally realized, Ella Hung, am not a soft persimmon that they can easily manipulate. I am a bomb, can blow all their dirty secrets to the sky. The birthday banquet ended in disappointment. The Gu family looked at me as if I were a monster. Back at the villa in Beverly Hills, Ethan finally exploded. He smashed everything in the living room that could be broken. Allah! Are you crazy? Do you want to ruin this home? His eyes were bloodshot, like a beast driven to a dead end. I sat on the sofa, watching him go crazy, and casually caught a vase that almost flew into my face, placing it back on the table. This home? I laughed. Which home are you talking about? The one where you rely on my dad's company to maintain appearances. Or the one where you use my money to keep a mistress outside? Ethan's movements came to a halt. He stared at me intently. You already know? What else? I took out my phone, opened a folder, and tossed it in front of him. You can see for yourself. In the folder are all the chat records, transfer records, and hotel booking records between him and the girl named Vivi since they met. Time, place, amount, all clear. There are even a few clips that are quite unpleasant to watch. These were all extracted by Riley in less than 10 minutes from that girl's cloud drive. Ethan looked at those things, his body began to tremble. He knew it was over for him. He thudded to his knees in front of me, clutching my legs. Wife, I was wrong. I really was wrong. I was blinded by my own foolishness. Please forgive me this time. I won't dare to do it again. He cried with snot and tears streaming down his face. His acting is comparable to that of an Oscar-winning actor. If it were before today, I might still have a soft heart. But now, I just feel nauseous. I kicked him with one foot. Get away. Don't touch me. Wife. Ethan, let's get a divorce. I calmly uttered these few words. Ethan was stunned, and then a grim expression appeared on his face. Divorce? Ella, you can forget about it. He got up from the ground, wiped away his tears, as if he had become a different person. You think that by catching me on this little thing, you can divorce me? Let me tell you, it's not that easy. Oh. I looked at him with great interest. What does he think he still has up his sleeve? Don't forget, we have a prenuptial agreement. He took a document from the study and slammed it down on the table. It clearly states in the agreement that if the divorce is due to your fault, all the property under your name will be split in half with me. I picked up the agreement and took a look at it. There is indeed such a line. It was I who took the initiative to sign it back then to put his mind at ease. At that time, I was truly blind. And Ethan's confidence grew stronger. The custody of your son Riley must also belong to me. The court will award the child to the party with better financial conditions. As the general manager of the GU Group, I earn $10 million a year. What about you? A delivery driver? What do you have to compete with me? He laughed triumphantly, as if victory was already in his grasp. Allah, you can't win against me. Be a good girl and keep today's matter to yourself, and we can go back to how things were before. Otherwise, I'll make you lose everything and you won't even get to see your son. He thought he had grasped my Achilles heel. He thought that money and his son were the trump cards that could threaten me. He is too naive. I looked at his self-satisfied face and suddenly found it quite amusing. I took out my phone and dialed a number. Hello, is this Lawyer Shan? This is Ella Shun. I'm preparing to file for divorce. Yes, with Ethan Gu. Prenuptial agreement? Oh, you mean that one. You tell him that the signature on that agreement was forged by someone I hired, and it has no legal validity. Custody? You tell him that the GU Group, which he takes pride in, will no longer bear the GU name starting next week. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Ethan was stunned. He stared at me blankly as if he were looking at a stranger. What did you say? I said. I told him word by word. The trump card you think you have is just a bad joke to me. Imitating a signature? Ella, you're lying. Ethan's first reaction was disbelief. He rushed over to try to grab my phone. Do you think you can scare me just by casually finding a lawyer? That has the seal of the notary office on it. Really? I sidestepped him and opened an app on my phone. That is a program specifically developed for me by my son, Riley. The interface is very simple, with only a search box. I entered GU Group in the search box. A dense array of files immediately popped up on the screen. Tax returns, internal ledgers, bank statements, shareholder information. I opened one of the tax documents marked top secret. Ethan, as the general manager, you should know how much tax your company has evaded in the past 3 years, right? I shoved the screen in front of his face. Not much, just $1.5 billion. This amount is enough for your dad to stay in there until he passes away. Ethan's eyes were as wide as saucers, his breath caught in his throat. He couldn't understand those complex codes and file pads, but he could understand the final red, shocking number. This is impossible. How could you have these things? Guess. I opened another file. And then there's you, embezzling company funds to buy bags and cars for your little lover. The biggest amount was last month, $3,500,000. Taken directly from the company project funds. What's that crime called again? Misappropriation of funds. How many years would that get you? Ethan's legs went weak, and he collapsed to the ground. The color drained completely from his face. His lips trembled, and he couldn't utter a single word. The goo group, which he took pride in, stood before me like a stripped clown. All its dirty secrets laid bare. Allah! You! He looked at me, his eyes filled with fear. Who exactly are you? He had never thought about this question in the 3 years since he got married. He only knows that I am a wealthy heiress who can bring him wealth and status. He never thought about why this seemingly gentle rose would bear the sharpest thorns. Who I am doesn't matter. I put away my phone. What matters is that I now give you two choices. First, a divorce by agreement. You leave with nothing, and I will act as if nothing ever happened. These things will never be seen by anyone else. Second, see you in court. We'll take our time with the lawsuit. I don't care how much it costs, just hire the best legal team in the whole of America. By then, you, your dad, and those executives from your family business won't be able to escape. I looked down at him from above. Which one will you choose? Ethan was sprawled on the ground, gasping for breath. The once spirited face he had is now left with only despair and ashes. He knew he had no choice. He's not even worth a scallion when it comes to competing with me. I choose one. He squeezed these 3 words out from between his teeth. Very well. I nodded, tossing him a pen and a divorce agreement that had long been prepared. Sign it. Ethan picked up the pen, his hand shaking like he had Parkinson's. He looked at the clause on the agreement that stated voluntarily waive all property. His eyes filled with resentment and bitterness. But in the end, he still signed. Because he knew that if he didn't sign, he would lose more than just his property. There is also freedom, as well as the future of the entire Gu family. He signed his name and tossed the agreement to me, as if he had exhausted his last ounce of strength. Allah! You're really ruthless. Same to you. I put away the agreement. Wasn't your family quite ruthless when you pressured me at the birthday banquet? I turned to leave this place that made me feel sick. At the door, Chen Mei and Gu Dehai had arrived without anyone noticing. They heard everything that just happened. Chen Mei pointed at me, her finger trembling. You venomous woman, you harbinger of misfortune. Our Gu family must have suffered 8 lifetimes of bad luck to have married you. Gu Dehai was somewhat sensible. He understood the seriousness of the situation. He grabbed Chen Mei and forced a smile at me that was uglier than crying. Xiaorui, no. Chairman Hume, let's talk things over calmly. We're all family, so why escalate it to this point? He also wanted to play the emotional card. Unfortunately, it's too late. Who do you think is family with you? I looked at him coldly. From the moment you forced me to pour wine for the guests, that was no longer the case. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning, in front of the Los Angeles Civil Affairs Bureau, make sure Ethan arrives on time. Any delay of a minute will be at his own risk. Having said that, I walked away without looking back. Behind her, the desperate cries of Chen Mei echoed. So beautiful to hear. It was like a symphony celebrating my rebirth. The next day, outside the Los Angeles Civil Affairs Bureau, Ethan arrived on time. He looked like he hadn't slept all night, with deep-set eyes and a scruffy beard, resembling a vagabond. Chen Mei and Gu Dehai also arrived, standing not far away like two guardian deities. Their faces looking as unpleasant as if they had just swallowed a fly. The paperwork was done quickly. In less than half an hour, the marriage certificate was replaced with a divorce certificate. The moment I stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I felt the sky had brightened a few shades of blue. Ethan looked at me, his expression complicated. There is hatred, there is resentment, but more than anything, there is fear. Ellie, may I ask you one last question? Speak. Did your son really get those materials? He still couldn't believe that a 7-year-old child could have such great abilities. Is it important? I retorted. He was stunned. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Importantly, he lost and lost miserably. I ignored him and turned to walk towards my electric scooter. Just as I was about to put on my helmet, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom silently came to a stop in front of me. The car door opened and a middle-aged man, dressed impeccably with his hair neatly combed, stepped out. He held a temperature-controlled box in his hands. Upon seeing me, he immediately bowed respectfully. Miss Hoong. The Ethan family was left dumbfounded. They know this man. Xiao Dehai, the largest real estate developer in California, with a fortune of several $1 billion. A big shot whose stomp can make the entire California real estate circle tremble. How could he be so respectful to me? Xiao Dehai ignored the astonished gazes of those around him and walked straight up to me, handing me the temperature-controlled box. Miss Hoong, here is what you wanted. The snow lotus picked from the peak of the Himalayas, just air freighted over, absolutely fresh. Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Xiao. I took the box and skillfully secured it to the back seat of my electric scooter. You're welcome, Xiao Dehai smiled with a flattering expression. Last time you helped me secure that piece of land in the west of Los Angeles. I haven't had the chance to thank you properly yet. This little thing is nothing to mention. I nodded. All right, then I'll be on my way if there's nothing else. The client is still waiting. All right, take care. I hopped on my electric scooter, twisted the throttle and vanished around the corner, leaving the Ethan family with blank expressions and the equally bewildered real estate tycoon Xiao Dehai. Xiao Dehai watched my receding figure and wiped the sweat from his forehead. The secretary beside him whispered, Xiao, who exactly is Miss Hoong? Why are you towards her like this? Xiao Dehai turned and glared at the secretary. Don't ask what you shouldn't. He paused, lowering his voice, as if speaking to himself, yet also to the secretary. You just need to know that what she delivered wasn't takeout, but a favor, an opportunity, something that can give life or take it away. The order that could make her run in person must be from a client who is either rich or powerful. This snow lotus of mine is meant for that retired old gentleman in Washington. Tell me, how much is this favor worth? The secretary gasped. He finally understood why his lofty boss would bow and scrape to me, this delivery person. Because my courier company delivers some really good stuff. Life after the divorce is much more comfortable. I drove the Ethan family out of my villa and replaced all the locks and furniture. The air has become fresh. My takeout business is running as usual. Today I got an interesting job. The client is a so-called socialite from Los Angeles named Sophia Kin. The content of the task is very simple: help her bid on a diamond necklace worth $10 million at a private auction. She didn't go herself because she didn't want her competitors to see her determined demeanor. She said this is called the dignity of a socialite. I rode my electric scooter, dressed in my delivery uniform, to the auction site. The security guard at the door stopped me again. Sorry, ma'am, this is a private club and you need an invitation. I pulled a black card out of my pocket and waved it in front of him. The security guard's expression changed when he saw the golden iris emblem on the card, and he immediately invited me in with great respect. This is the exclusive card for my company's top VIP clients. Seeing the card is like seeing the person. The entire auction was a dazzling display of jewels and finery, with the scent of perfume and the rustle of elegant attire. Those present were all prominent figures of the Los Angeles upper class. I found an inconspicuous corner to sit down and quietly waited for that necklace to make its appearance. Soon, I saw a few old acquaintances. She is Ethan's new flame, the girl named Vivi, along with her group of plastic sisters. They also came to attend the auction. It seems that although Ethan left with nothing, a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. He can still squeeze some benefits from the company to please his little lover. Vivi spotted me at a glance. She walked towards me, wearing a high-end imitation Dior gown and carrying a Hermes bag, her head held high with an air of arrogance. Yo, isn't this Ella? What's up? Divorced, out of money, come here to work as a waitress? The sisters around her burst into laughter. Vivi, don't say that about them. Maybe they're just here to broaden their horizons. After all, in an occasion of this level, delivery people can't come in. Their words were filled with a sense of superiority. It was as if they were meant to belong here from the very beginning. While I was an unwitting intruder, an outsider, I can't be bothered with them. To me, they are like a few buzzing fleas, annoying, but not a threat. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Vivi became even more spirited. She deliberately shook a Patek Philippe watch on her wrist in front of me. "Did you see? It was a gift from Ethan. He said, in the past, he was really blind to have chosen a woman like you, someone so unworthy. Now that he's with me, he finally knows what true quality of life is." "Really?" I lifted my eyelids and glanced at her. "Do you know that the watch on your wrist and the dress you're wearing were all bought with company money? Yesterday, the shareholders of Goo Group united and kicked him out of the general manager position." Vivi's smile froze in an instant. You're talking nonsense." "Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, you can just call him and find out for yourself." Vivi took out her phone with a mix of doubt and curiosity, and stepped aside to make a call. A few minutes later, she returned. Her face was as pale as if she had lost her soul. It seems she already knows the truth. Her sisters also sensed that something was off. "Vivi, what's wrong?" Vivi didn't answer. She just stared at me intensely, her eyes filled with resentment. "Allah, it's you! It's all your fault." "Did I harm him?" I laughed. "It's his own lack of self-control, unable to manage his lower half. Who can he blame?" At that moment, the auctioneer on stage announced that the diamond necklace named Heart of the Ocean was about to be auctioned. Starting bid, $8 million. One of the sisters next to Vivi, named Lily, immediately raised the sign. $8,500,000. She seemed to want to overwhelm me with her presence in this way. I ignored her. "Sophia gave me a budget of $20 million, it's still early." Seeing that I didn't respond, Lily glanced at me with satisfaction and said to Vivi, "Vivi, don't be angry. Once I take a picture of this necklace, consider it a gift for you. Let's show some people what true sisterhood really is." Soon, the price was raised to $15 million. Lily's forehead began to sweat. This price has already exceeded her capacity to bear. She gritted her teeth and raised the sign once more, $16 million. No one else in the audience made a bid. The auctioneer began the countdown, 16 million at a time. 16 million twice. A victorious smile appeared on Lily's face. Just as the auctioneer was about to drop the hammer, I raised my paddle. 20 million, I calmly reported this number. The audience was in an uproar. Everyone looked at me, their eyes filled with shock. A woman in a delivery uniform actually opened her mouth to ask for $20 million? Lily's face instantly turned a shade of liver. She wanted to go along, but she was out of money. Vivi was so angry that her whole body trembled. In the end, I successfully bid for the necklace. I walked up to Lily, holding the necklace. "Do you know, in the face of true capital, you so-called socialites are nothing more than a crop, waiting to be harvested." And I smiled, and the one with the scythe. I held the captured heart of the ocean, ready to leave. Vivi, however, stubbornly blocked my way. "Allah, don't get cocky. Do you think you're something special just because you have a little bit of money?" Behind her stood a portly middle-aged man. The organizer of this auction, and also the owner of the Starshine Entertainment City, Mr. Wang. It's the one who was given a Ferrari by Kevin. It seems that after being dumped by Ethan, Vivi quickly found a new support. Mr. Wang wrapped his arm around Weiwei's waist, looking at me with an air of arrogance. "This young lady looks unfamiliar. Which company are you from?" "A delivery person," I said. Mr. Wang was taken aback for a moment, then burst into hearty laughter. "Delivering takeout? Ha, Vivi, you, the ex-wife of my husband, are really something. A delivery guy can actually come up with $20 million to buy a necklace?" He leaned in close to me, a wave of alcohol breath hitting me. "Speak up, which boss is behind you? Let him come out and talk to me. This necklace, our President Wang has taken a liking to." What he meant was that he wanted me to give the necklace to him. Sorry, Mr. Wang, I took a step back, avoiding his lecherous hand. This is something I shot for a client, and it can't be transferred. Client? Mr. Wang sneered. In California, no one dares to disrespect me, Wang. I'll offer $21 million, give me the necklace, this is outright robbery. I looked at his greasy face and suddenly felt a bit nauseous. I took out my phone and opened that familiar app again. I typed General Wang's name into the search box, Wang Fugui. On the screen, his glorious achievements immediately popped up. Tax evasion, collusion between officials and businessmen, forced demolition of houses, and even bearing several lives on their hands. The information is even more exciting than the Gu families. I handed my phone to him. Mr. Wang, don't say I'm not giving you face. Take a look at this first, then decide whether you want this necklace. Wang Fugui initially didn't take it seriously. But when he saw the dirt on his phone that only he knew about, his expression changed instantly. Cold sweat dripped down from his forehead, bead by bead. His gaze at me was as if he had seen a ghost. Who exactly are you? Many people have asked me this question today. I put away my phone. I said, a delivery person. A delivery person who can turn your Starlight Entertainment City into a ruin at any moment. Wang Fugui fell to the ground with a thud, his legs giving way as he knelt down. He is not the kind of spineless person that Ethan is. He was truly scared out of his wits. Because he knew that for those who could obtain these things, wanting him dead was easier than crushing an ant. Vivi and her sisters were all stunned. They couldn't understand how a lowly server in their eyes could possess such terrifying energy. Go. I only said one word. Wang Fugui ran away in a tumble. Vivi and the others scattered like birds and beasts. The entire auction venue was silent as a grave. Everyone looked at me with a sense of awe. I walked out of the club holding the necklace. I hopped on my electric scooter and sped away. The game of capital is indeed fun. But the premise is, you have to be the one who makes the rules. But they, clearly, are not. Life returned to tranquility. Without the annoying flies from the Gu family, my son Riley and I live a peaceful and carefree life. Riley was still as immersed as ever in his world of code, but I noticed that he has been a bit different lately. He began to frequently ask me questions about Dad. Mom, all the other kids have dads, why don't I? Mom, what is Dad like? Mom, can you find me a dad too? I know this is a normal stage in a child's development. But in my heart, a twinge of bitterness still arose. That man Ethan, although not a good husband, is nonetheless, in name, Riley's father. I have never figured out how to tell Riley about the divorce. He is too clever, no lie can deceive him. That evening, I was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Riley ran up to me, tapping away on his little computer. Mom, look. He turned the computer screen towards me. On the screen is the interface of a dating app. Above is a profile of a man. The man in the photo, around 30 years old, has a handsome appearance. Wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses and a white lab coat, looking refined and cultured. Information shows. Name, Ethan Liu, surgeon at First People's Hospital of Los Angeles, single, hobbies include reading and fitness. Mom, I've found you a boyfriend. Riley said proudly. I analyzed all the single men in California using big data. And this Uncle Lou has a compatibility score of 98.5% with you. He's the best choice. I looked at the screen, feeling both amused and helpless. Who told you to do this? I want to do it myself, Riley said confidently. It's too hard for you to do it alone, you need someone to take care of you. I've already set up a meeting for you with him. Tomorrow night at 7, at the Skyline restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. After saying that, he also sent me a document. The title was, First Date Strategy with Dr. Ethan Liu. It detailed the other person's preferences, deal breakers, and recommended conversation topics. They even helped me plan my outfit for the day of the date. I looked at my son, who worried even more than I did as a mother, and felt a warm and amusing sensation in my heart. Riley, Mom doesn't need anyone to take care of her. You need it, Riley insisted. Mom, you deserve the best person. I looked into his clear and earnest eyes, and the words of refusal just wouldn't come out. Perhaps there's nothing wrong with meeting up. Just consider it a new possibility for me and my son. The next evening, following Riley's strategy, I wore a decent dress, applied light makeup, and arrived at the Cloud Top restaurant on time. Ethan Liu has arrived. He appears gentler and more refined in person than he does in the photo. Upon seeing me, he stood up and politely pulled out the chair for me. Miss Huang, hello. I am Ethan Liu. Hello, Dr. Liu. We exchanged a few simple pleasantries. He is very good at chatting, able to speak eloquently on topics ranging from medical knowledge to literature and art. And he has a great sense of measure, never making others feel that he is showing off. Riley's big data really has something to it. This is indeed an almost perfect date. But I don't know why, I always feel that something is off. His gaze was too calm as a bottomless lake. There was no curiosity of a first meeting, nor any admiration for the opposite sex. Like a robot executing a task, every step is the result of precise calculations. The waiter began to serve the dishes. Ethan poured me a glass of red wine. Miss Huang, try this. The 1982 Lafite, a treasure from this restaurant. I picked up the wine glass, gave it a swirl, but did not drink. I took out a small detector from my bag and waved it over the wine glass. The detector is a product developed by our company that can detect the vast majority of drugs and narcotics available on the market. It is specially designed for VIP clients who need to navigate complex situations. A red light lit up on the detector screen. There is something in the wine. It is currently the most potent drug on the market. Colorless and odorless, capable of rendering a person unconscious within 10 minutes. I set down my glass, looked at Ethan and smiled. Dr. Liu, you, a surgeon, also understand pharmacology. The smile on Ethan's face froze. He didn't expect that I would actually carry something like this with me. His gaze finally lost its calmness, revealing a hint of panic. Miss Huang, what do you mean by this? Not much. I took out my phone and played a recording. Dr. Liu, how did things go? In the recording, a familiar voice came through. It's Ethan. Ethan's voice rang out. Don't worry, Mr. Gu, the medicine is ready. As long as she drinks it, I guarantee to deliver her to the hotel room you specified. At that time, you can take photos and videos and see how she still dares to contest the inheritance with you. It turned out, this wasn't a date. This is a trap meticulously planned by Ethan. He is still unrepentant and actually wants to use such despicable means to take revenge on me. Ethan is not exactly a refined and gentle doctor. He is a beast in human skin, bought off by Ethan. Ethan's face had turned as white as paper. He stood up, wanting to run. A few security guards from the restaurant had blocked the entrance, though it was unclear when they had done so. They are all my people. I stood up, walked in front of him, and handed him the glass of spiced red wine. Dr. Liu, don't waste it. Drink it. Ethan ultimately drank that glass of wine. It wasn't his choice. It was forced down his throat by my bodyguard. In less than 5 minutes, he collapsed to the ground, unconscious. I had the bodyguard take care of him. The so-called treatment was to strip him naked, tie him to a pig, and throw him at Ethan's doorstep. By the way, anonymously send the recording of his deal with Ethan, as well as the evidence of him accepting red envelopes from patients and engaging in illegal medical practices over the past few years, to the hospital's disciplinary committee and major media outlets. This beast in human clothing will never be a doctor again in this lifetime. After doing all this, I called Ethan. The call connected, but he hadn't had a chance to speak yet. I heard Chen Mei's scream coming from his side. Ah, what is this thing? Call the police quickly. I laughed. Isaac, did you receive the gift I sent to you? On the other end of the line, Isaac's voice was trembling. Allah, you crazy woman, what on earth do you want to do? I don't want to do anything. My voice was cold. I just want to tell you, don't come to bother me again. This is the last warning. Next time, it might be you tied to a pig. After saying that, I hung up the phone directly. I knew that Ethan was scared out of his wits. This kind of coward who bullies the weak and fears the strong will cower like a dog and never dare to bark at you again as long as you are tougher than him. After dealing with the trash, I returned home. Riley was still awake, sitting on the sofa with the computer in his lap waiting for me. Upon seeing me, he immediately ran over. "Mom, are you okay? I saw the message you sent me. That guy with the last name Liu, did he bully you?" The little guy's eyes were filled with worry and anger. I patted his head. "Mom is fine, just a clown, already dealt with." Riley still seemed uneasy. He opened his computer, his small hands flying over the keyboard. On the screen, the code flowed like a waterfall. A few seconds later, he stopped. "Mom, I have transferred all the money from Ethan and his family's bank accounts to an anonymous account in a Swiss bank. The password is known only to me." He lifted his head and looked at me with a serious expression. "I also deleted Ethan's information from the dating app's database and implanted a small program in the software, so that anyone who tries to approach you through this app will be locked by me at the first opportunity." I looked at my little son, who possessed immense energy, and my heart was filled with mixed emotions. I crouched down and held him in my arms. "Riley, thank you. But from now on, you mustn't do such dangerous things again, understand?" Riley nodded in my arms. "Mom, I just want to protect you." "I know." I kissed his forehead, "but you also need to take care of yourself. You are my only treasure, and I don't want anything to happen to you." My child and I held each other tightly. Outside the window, the night is deepening. I know that this war is not over yet. Ethan may not dare to come out openly, but the venomous snake lurking in the shadows is the most terrifying. However, I am not afraid either, because I am not fighting alone. I have the strongest backing in the world, my son, Riley Hyun. After that night, Ethan completely quieted down. He and his family seemed to have evaporated in Los Angeles, never to appear in my world again. I guess the sudden disappearance of the money in their bank accounts must have dealt them quite a blow. Without money, their so-called upper-class dignity and respectability would cease to exist. My life has finally welcomed true tranquility. The takeout business is getting bigger and bigger. My client list has grown to include many big names from Washington and even overseas. They all knew that there was a errand girl named Ella Hyun who had boundless energy. As long as you can pay the price, there's nothing she can't do. They do not know that the one who truly reaches the heavens is not me. It's my son, who looks harmless and spends every day immersed in the world of code. Riley's talent has far exceeded my imagination. He was no longer satisfied with hacking into other people's databases. He began to write his own artificial intelligence program, building his own information empire. He said he wanted to create an absolutely safe world for his mother. In this world, anyone who wishes to harm us will be warned in advance and subjected to the harshest punishment. I asked him, "Doesn't that make us the gods of this world?" He said, "Not a god, but the maker of rules." I laughed. My son is truly a little tyrannical CEO. On that day, I received an unexpected phone call. It was my father who called. The man who, ever since my mother passed away, abandoned me abroad to start a new family of his own, has not cared for me or inquired about me for over a decade. "Xiao Rui, it's Dad." His voice sounded old and weary. "I heard you took care of that kid from the Gu family. Well done. Let's get to the point." I wasn't interested in reminiscing with him. "Well, you see," he rubbed his hands together. "The company has run into some problems recently, the funding chain has broken, and several major shareholders have joined forces to try to kick me out of the board. I was wondering, could you possibly, he wants me to help him." In my own way, I helped him solve those troubles. I fell silent. I have no hatred for him, but neither do I have love. He is just a biological father. On the other end of the phone, he was still rambling on about his difficulties and how he felt he owed me. I interrupted him. "Sure." He was stunned. "But I have a condition," I said. "Transfer all the remaining shares in your hand to my son, Riley Hyun. From now on, that so-called business empire will bear the surname Hyun. It will be decided by my son." On the other end of the phone, there was a long silence. I know he is weighing his options, struggling. But in the end, he would still agree, because he had no other choice. Just like the former Ethan, and all those who tried to provoke me. In this world that I built with my own hands, the rules are set by me. In my world, I call the shots. After hanging up the phone, I walked into Riley's room. He was wearing a VR headset, building his kingdom of code in the virtual world. The sunlight streamed through the window, casting a golden halo on his small profile. He is my world, my everything. I walked over and gently hugged him from behind. Riley, Mommy has a gift for you, okay? What gift? An empire. Do you want it?